is the CEO since March 2020. And since her arrival, she restructured the HDB, and she has handled a very great COVID, a great number and amount of COVID tools to face the crisis in collaboration with the Greek state. And so I will let you, Athina, talk to us about your vision on the future on the ESG approach and your relationship with your regulator, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Economy. Sorry.
Economy. Yeah.
The floor is yours, Athina.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Virginie, for assisting us in this transformation process that has been quite intense, I may say. And I'm very glad that it's my first participation in EMGN, and hopefully we will continue in the very near future towards more similar organizations and meetings. I don't know if I can share something. I'm working from home because we have a very heavy snow in Greece, an unbelievable snow. Let me share the screen to see. Well, I can't see it now in my screen. Anyway, it is really impressive. Schools are closed, companies are also closed, and we had some internet issues. I hope it will not continue. Let me start with our business model and how we have been in this journey. HDB, Hellenic Development Bank, is the national promotional institution, the only national promotional institution in Greece, authorized in providing leverage. And as most of promotional institutions, we are 100% owned by Hellenic Republic. And we are the contributors to the driving forces of the Greek enterprises as a pillar of growth of the national economy. Our role, and I think is quite similar of what has been said, is to minimize potential deficiencies and remove bottlenecks, such as regional imbalanced growth that is noticed across Europe and the world. We are focusing on minimizing the waste of entrepreneurial resources and underinvestment. We want to support SMEs and address issues such as the lack of knowledge, sometimes with regards to financial options. We encourage and train potential entrepreneurs to set up new projects. We have started undertaking economic and technical research, conducting surveys and feasibility studies. And primarily, we anticipate forthcoming needs in order to support a proactive strategy in policy making. Last but not least, we want to fortify equity participation, thus developing a form of relationship banking. Our vision is to be the key development institution, a multilateral development bank serving Greek enterprises' needs to innovate and succeed, fostering fair, inclusive, and sustainable growth. And our mission is to facilitate access to finance for Greek enterprises, create value for our shareholders and employees, and to generate positive economic, social, and environmental benefits. For us, as mentioned, 2020 was a decisive year since we implemented the most fundamental transformation in our bank. We focused on our internal processes and culture. We profoundly restructured our business units and set very ambitious financial targets due to the pandemic as well. We have developed a deeper sense of purpose that guided our strategic decisions and shaped the workplace culture. And we've repositioned the core business and overcome organizational inertia with an enormous appetite for the detailed drive, that sense of urgency to make that purpose come alive. And we did that with a continuous view on the broader picture, with proximity with all stakeholders, with positive psychology and a more inclusive, empowering culture. Our business model included organization of the bank operating process, working methods in each operating unit, what we call re-engineering in corporate. We create a culture and philosophy redefining our corporate identity. What you see as our branding is actually a rebranding. We've changed in the bank's operating structures in terms of size, drastic upsizing, and in terms of organizational chart and governance. We've created and we actually shared best practices from institutions such as EIF, EIB, BPI, creating operating models of structures, implementing a change control mechanism, evaluating our new structures constantly, and designing a targeted and innovative product agenda. In other words, we supported Greece recovery with the development of financial tools. Three main axes on those financial instruments that were used, and we will continue to use them as these are the pillars of our growth model, is senior loans, mezzanine loans, and capped portfolio guarantees. Our guarantee scheme in Greece, it has been reshaped and was launched in June 2020, less than 3 months after the pandemic. And it has been launched together with a co-financing scheme that we called TEPIH. Both products had a substantial impact in the market, providing liquidity to Greek companies with preferential terms, both of them. And due to increased demand, there were subsequent calls for both products. When we took the management in end of February 2020, we had under management less than 300 million euro, and the loans approved during the pandemic are exceeding 9 billion currently. So the upsizing was very drastic. Our flagship product is COVID Enterprise Guarantee Fund, capped portfolio facility. Has a similar design as COSME of EIF, with a guarantee rate of 80% per loan, do distinct sub-portfolios, one directed to SMEs with a cap rate of 40%, and one directed for mid-cap large companies with a cap rate of 30%. Our second product is a co-financing scheme, and has a 40% participation by the fund and 60% by the bank. We considered our guarantee schemes are very, very successful for several reasons that I will try to share with you. We know that a credit guarantees system must operate within the existing and unique, sometimes financial environment of the country, not as a cure-all for everything that hinders credit intermediation channels. Our guarantee scheme supported a quick economic recovery by complementing the private financial markets and preventing a credit crunch during COVID-19 crisis. What we've used it as a safety net for the lost turnover during pandemic. And the design of that was based on a cost-benefit analysis with isometric and balanced distribution of financial risk. That's why if you do the maths, you see that almost the financial risk is split in three criteria. We also considered other factors that influence the utilization of credit guarantees, such as the increase of lending, the default rate, the maximum guarantee amount, the duration, which is critical, the eligibility, and in our case, this was part of the scheme of Europe that was scheduled under COVID, and primarily of the supply and demand. that was the response of Hellenic Development Bank to COVID-19. Why? Because HDB, as a pillar of development and growth, acts and counteracts its counter-cycle role in order to ease financing and liquidity constraints and fill the gaps in the Greek financial architecture. Through the collective efforts of the Greek government and HDB, we managed to facilitate the access to finance to tackle the deteriorating operating cash flows. That was the main objective, and address short-term liquidity shortages to avoid widespread insolvencies. That was also very critical in Greece and a particular concern. What we also see as our pride is that we created, by having a clause of non-firing, we create additional 15,600 new jobs positions in Greek economy. And according to the financial institutions, they has been noticed for the first time after 9 years, an 8.3% increase in credit in Greece. So, as already said, 2020 was a significant turning point for HDB and its operations. We were called with an existing capacity of less than 50 officers to develop within a very short time schemes and financial instruments to tackle the to address the safety net to COVID-19 pandemic. And we may say that HDB in 2020 thrived. It was for us a record-breaking year with the highest revenue in the bank's history, since we managed to consolidate and extend our position, even given the difficult market environment and the negative impact of coronavirus in 2020. So this is the what. It is important, though, to address the how. The how was that we wanted to contribute to a GDP growth that is currently 6.2 billion, to provide leverage. These are the GVA analysis that we've conducted of more than 2 to GDP, and to track the figures that says that in 2020 we have 10 times more loans from the 5 years of 2014, 2019, and 4 times more loans from the decade of 2010 to 2019. All in all, by 31st of December, we had under management 28,000 VAT codes loans amounting to 6.6 billion euros, and they were addressed primarily to SMEs. And by 2021, this has been increased to 34,000 companies and circa 9 billion euros. This has been noticed in all surveillance reports for Greece of the Commission, where the majority of the credit expansion is driven by the products of HDB. And the value that has been approved is analyzed in several products that are that could be summarized as co-financing and guarantee schemes. In 2021, having this journey and let's say knowing that we will need in the future to address a more regional and a more clustering approach, we have introduced the first regional fund in an area called West Macedonia. That is an area that has very low GDP per capita. And we have a second capped guarantee fund for SMEs addressed to public work contractors. At the end of 2021, it was our first attempt to enter what we call the new technology, and by introducing an audiovisual production guarantee fund that addresses not only to audiovisual productions, but also to gaming And in that sense, we are tackling directly the new generation. 2022 just started with new challenges and development of new tools, and as already addressed by both Portugal and Jordan. And this was the introduction of Vision E. We have in our pipeline a green fund co-financing scheme for a budget of 400 million, a digitalization fund, a growth co-investment fund that will try to tackle one major need for the Greek entrepreneurship, the M&A. We are already next week launching agro micro loans, and we have let's say, very ambitious product designed together with BPI as consulting, an innovation guarantee fund. In that sense, our investment strategy for 2022 is thematic and regional. We have, let's say, not only used our previous experience, but also we have used some strategic partnership with big houses such as Oliver Wyman and other strategy houses, so as to tackle the market failure and design and formulate products that are reducing regional imbalances and formulate right products for a diverse financial market. In HDB, we have a dedicated innovation unit because we think that this is our main, let's say, big weapon for the future, aiming at building up an operating model to support all stages of SMEs evolution and extroversion, providing financial support, loans, equity, guarantees, repayment, holidays, grants, and third-party finance, that cover the whole value chain, starting from R&D, IPR, prototyping, and all kinds of other needs.
Athina, we are short of time. Could you conclude?
Yes,
excuse me. Thank you.
And as well as the non-financial support, that is equally important. InnoAgora, powered by HDB, is our next important task. And of course, as already said, and I think that we will have some time to discuss in the second round, ESG criteria that are now incorporated in our eligibility criteria. And by saying that, we want to see HDB as consulting, as business partners, and we want to act very active. We want to act very positively in the future to overcome any other constraints. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Athina. This is the figures are very impressive. The changes of the structure at the same time as the booming of the activity is an incredible work you've done with your team. It's very, very impressed. And we are again sorry, we are